But net, it was a good. It was quite a crazy drive both ways. I went on last Monday, got back today morning. And
So,
the thing
yes,
is,
sorry.
no, I'm saying the thing is today, the protocol that you need to follow once you come back home, you need to have the shower and you need to clean yourself and hide till you get
I
back.
know, I
So
know.
it's another 40, half an hour, 40 minutes. Sorry, Ekta, you were saying?
Absolutely. So, let's start off today. Yeah, I'm so sorry for the delay. I really apologize for this. There's some confusion in the login ID, so that's why there was the issue. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning to all panelists. Good morning to all the attendees. Thank you for joining us on the third and final session of the Leadership Skills Development Series. And today we are going to learn leadership at work with Colin Mendes. Um, Thanks everyone for being here on a Saturday morning, which and especially on an Independence Day. So choosing to learn is was something which is actually a part of your freedom, because learning gives you the most freedom in life. That's what I truly believe. The more you learn, the more knowledgeable you are, the more free you are to choose what you want to do in life. So, with that note, happy Independence Day to all of you. And I'll ask Vikas to introduce Amazing Workplaces and Attain, since both Attain and in the Amazing Workplaces and Winds Beneath the Wings have tied up for this particular series. And going forward, I'll request Harini to introduce Colin, and then we start the today's sessions. Right? Thank you so much, and welcome again.
Thank you so much, Ekta. And good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining in today. I won't take too much time. I know many of you now that I see in the attendee group are already family. You have attended many of our sessions, so you know about Amazing Workplaces and Attain. But for the few that are not, very briefly, Amazing Workplaces is one of India's top HR advisory organizations and works with organizations to help them attain the tag of Amazing Workplaces, which is improve their entire HR life cycle and processes to a level where they are considered as amongst the best in the world. They do some great work in supporting hand-holding organizations, right from process design to program rollouts and digital marketing to help them in these various initiatives. As far as Attain goes, we just went live about 2 weeks ago. You're welcome to check out our website and also enlist as an expert. We aim to become one of the top expert communities in the country and bring together people from diverse backgrounds and industries to be able to showcase their own profiles in the community as a mechanism to either give back or to even generate revenue from their presence. So that's a little bit about Attain. I'll pass on to Harini to introduce Colin, who very briefly I'll talk about also, because the first thing that I think of when I think of Colin is a smile. And that's something that I really admire about him. So Harini, over to you to elaborate on that.
Thanks, Vikas.
Yes. Okay. So Colin has been to start with has been a very good friend over the years. And one of the most unassuming HR leaders I have ever met. The best part is what his LinkedIn profile says is about 15 years or more than 15 years with the Tata's group. He's grown in the ranks in Tata's group, and that itself speaks volumes. So there's going to be solid learning today because he comes with that kind of rich expertise behind him. What his LinkedIn profile doesn't say is about his travel adventures and experiences. And I'm a big fan of his passion for travel and his travel logs on Instagram. And if I'm on Instagram, one of the things I really look out for is Colin and his travel bits. It's sad that the COVID has prevented him from new stories, but anyways, his old stories are still memorable. And what is not there in any of the social media is that's something between me and Colin. I always refer to him as the Barack Obama of HR in India. So that's the smile. the calm, composed, all the time, absolutely unruffled. But when he has to make a point, it's a very firm point, and therefore I call him Barack Obama, and he's very happy to be compared with Barack Obama because he's also a fan of Obama. So, presenting to all of you, learning from Colin today, the Obama of HR of India. Over to you, Colin.
Thank you, Harini. Thank you so much, and it's really thanks, because in fact it's so nice to actually get back to the community back again today. Last 2 Saturdays we had such an amazing experience, and I truly enjoyed every experience, every session that happened. And yes, Harini, my biggest passion is travel. Until today, I do say that it continues to be travel. And I'm so waiting to, hang up my boots and, pack up my bag and get back to travel when it starts again. So yeah, so that's the other side. Besides, of course, what I do at the work front. Great to have you all here, and happy Independence Day to each one of you. It's a privilege and truly a pleasure to meet y'all all digitally. And while I would love to meet, and I'm sure there will be an occasion to meet in person sooner than ever, but I'm sure this is the way forward, and this is the way we can connect a larger spectrum of people at a shorter space of time. And this is also an opportunity for each one of us to actually connect even on very quickly without saving a lot of travel time. So hi Ranjit, thanks for dropping in. And
morning guys. Sorry, just got delayed into something else.
No worries.
Morning Ekta, Vikas, Harini.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great.
So super, so great, yeah. So thanks everybody, and I'll just try and share a few slides. I just have a few slides that I've prepared. I'll try and focus most of my stories of experiences of the great managers that I worked with before. It's a very interesting topic, and I'm sure, with the panelists that I can see today, I'm sure each one of them have got experiences of their own, which I'm sure will be truly valuable to share. And I'm trying to make my small bit over here to try and share my experiences, my relationships with my managers, who I think what I've learned over the last few years have been truly valuable and made me what I am today. And that's what I want to share with you over the next couple of hours. We'll try and keep this interactive. There are a few slides, but there are more experiences to share. And I do welcome, we'll try and keep it more interactive. I'll do welcome experiences that some of you would like to share or towards the end of the session. And we'll have a lot of fun. Today's a holiday, so we'll have a lot of fun. And I do promise to have a very interesting closure to the session, so stay tuned for that. It'll be slightly different from what we normally do for any education session. So I'm just trying to do a little bit of a flip-flop, a little bit of a change, and a little bit of fun today. It's Independence Day, so we'll have a little fun, but I'm sure we will learn something, and we will learn some concepts. We will learn the practical angle of each concept, and we will learn something that may not be new to us, but will help us appreciate the importance of it. Yeah. So with that, let me just quickly share with you a few slides. Just give me a moment, just having a little difficulty. Okay. Yeah, go. So can you guys confirm whether the slides are visible? Either you could drop me a message that helps. Yeah, are the slides visible to you?
Yes, Colin.
Okay, lovely, super. Okay, great. So today's really an interesting topic, and we're going to talk about three key aspects. We're going to talk about empathy, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence, and we're going to talk about virtual leadership. And every topic, to my mind, is interesting. And I put this image right on top because I think this image has a range of so many different emotions to each one of us. Yeah, and each emotion indicates different aspects to it. And of course, it's Independence Day, so I couldn't refrain from, putting our India flag right up there, because I think that's what each and every Indian truly lives for. Yeah. So super. So with that, let me give you a little bit of perspective before we start our session. It's really times today that are uncertain. It's times today that are highly stressful. It's time when there is a heightened reliance on managers and leaders, yeah, to maintain well-being of individuals, maintain health, maintain safety of the workforce. Yeah. And this continues to be more and more difficult as it goes by. There is so for leaders actually today, there's a lot of stress that's actually taking place. Yeah, there is an additional stress on the workforce instability. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's actually happening today? There are issues related to escalations of safety, health risk, and so on and so forth. And while managing all this is difficult and is mounting and is becoming more and more truly challenging for every leader. With mounting work-life challenges and work-life balances, really staying informed about all this and keeping in mind changes in policies that are happening are truly going to make a big difference. Yeah. So if I want to summarize, I wanted to tell you that today leadership hasn't been really more tougher than today. Yeah. And I want to just talk about it from 4 aspects. Yeah. The first biggest aspect, which talks about work. Yeah. And today, when we look at work-life balance, we look at work today, the new dimensions of work that have evolved and are currently there. The entire scenario has got hugely compressed. Yeah. So what does that really mean for all of us, for each one of us who are working in organizations and who are working for companies? I think the important aspect is how this entire situation has actually compressed work to a very large extent, that all of us who are very, very dispersed in different locations actually have come quickly together. Yeah. So what it really means, it talks about shorter work cycles. Yeah. It talks about more complexity given the current scenario. It talks about quickness in really taking decisions, because you have to take decisions for the need for the hour. And today, if there is something that's so very important, it's important for each one of us to quickly manage that aspect. And of course, the aspect of experimentation, I think this is very, very quick, because we're experiencing something that no one has really experienced before. Yeah. And so therefore, everyone has to take that challenge. Everyone has to make that experiment, and everyone has to do what is required today. Yeah. The other aspect is about the organization structures. And, as a resultant impact of the new model of workforce, there will be a new model of teams that will continue to work. And of course, there will be focus on, relooking at organization structures. And therefore, the challenge of leadership to really handle a situation where you will have more and more difficulty in managing a structure. Yeah. Yeah. So in that case, if you look at in the current scheme of things, you will have structures that will be fairly flat in nature. Yeah. So how traditional organization structures are, these entire structures will undergo a rejig. These structures will undergo a change, and these structures will actually undergo a constant modification in light of today's times. Yeah. So you will have far more networked organizations, far more network structures, where you will have people who will be able to work far more effectively. You will have situations where people will be able to come together, work together, and then go and disperse back. You will have different models of employment that will also emerge. And this will actually drive structure based on power, based on position power, which was earlier there, position power and authority will far be more dispersed. Yeah. The third aspect is on the entire aspect of people. And the reason why I'm talking about this, because these are the changing dynamics that are actually going to influence leadership behavior for today and for the next, for the times to come. Okay, so the third aspect is really about people, yeah, where people really are craving for two big aspects. The first one pertains to impact, and the second pertains to purpose. It's either ways. So people are very conscious that whatever they do today really talks about what is the impact do I have, and what's the purpose that I'm doing actually for. Yeah, which means that there will be a huge shift in the employee experience. Yeah, that has actually changed dramatically over the last few years, and more so in the last few months. Yeah, the entire employee experience has gotten so rejigged and so moved that that's going to make a big difference. Yeah. Yeah, and this, to my mind, today, what will really happen is that you will have employees that will want to make a worthwhile contribution to the organization and the society at large. So the entire aspect of purpose is becoming more and more important as time goes by. Yeah. And the most important point of today's discussion is actually leadership. Yeah, where there is a constant transition that is actually taking place today. Yeah, there is a constant movement that's actually taking place today. So what that really means, it talks about dealing with uncertainty, ambiguity. Yeah, and as a result, the once called changed leadership is today simply called leadership to a large extent. Yeah, and these are things that I think is very important in today's scenario. Yeah. So with that backdrop, I'm going to really talk about, there are many aspects and there are many dimensions of leadership, and I'm going to try and talk about three areas of leadership which I think truly are important in today's scheme of things when we're talking about a changing work scenario, a changing organization dimension and structure scenario, the impact it has had on people, and therefore how leaders of today and leaders of tomorrow can actually matter and make those necessary changes going forward. Yeah. So with that backdrop, let me talk about one of the interesting aspects, which is pertaining to empathy. Yeah. Now, what is empathy all about? And I think it's very important to really understand the point and what does empathy really mean. Sometimes it's kind of blurred, and empathy is very often misunderstood as sympathy. Yeah, and I want to help all of you understand that empathy talks about really understanding and sharing feelings of each one another, and that's truly important for each one of us. The action of understanding, being aware, being sensitive to feelings, thoughts, emotions, and experiences of one another truly implies what empathy is all about. Yeah. And I want to ask all of you a few questions, and maybe you could help me understand whether how do you understand? Yeah. So the first question talks about, do you have the ability to understand one's feelings? Yeah. As leaders of today and leaders of tomorrow, or forget about leaders, do we really understand people? Do we really spend time in understanding who others are? What a little more beyond work? Yeah. Not many times there's a lot of blur that really takes place in this scenario. Yeah. And a number of times the understanding of feelings of others gets lost, and particularly in today's digital age, where we normally just sitting in front of a camera for maybe an hour or a couple of hours, and then we have a meeting and then we disperse back. Do we really understand how people really feel in a scenario as difficult as this? The second one is, are you aware of your team's feelings and what they are really thinking about? Yeah. Do we really spend time in understanding, having an offline discussion, um, help them understand what's going through their mind? Very easily said and done in a normal work environment when each one of us are in front of each other. But today, in the digital model of communication and working, sometimes this actually will really tend to get lost here. And The third aspect is sometimes what really happens again is, do we agree with their perspective? Yeah. Typically, most leaders, they tend to force their point of view across. And this is happening to a very large extent in digital workspace today. Why is that really happening? It's happening because we are in a scenario where we constantly believe that we are able to communicate what we should communicate. Yeah. So the aspect of really, do we agree with people's perspective? Do we really listen to them? These are really important aspects in digital communication and digital workspace. Of course, I'm emphasizing on digital because that's the workspace of today, and that will be a workspace that will largely rule the longer term future. But however, having said that, I think empathy will be hugely important. How we really deal with people, how we deal with peers, how we deal with team members, and how we bring out the best in each other. Yeah. So I have a little model that I would like to share with each one of you in terms of how this entire aspect would really work. Yeah. So how this works, it's all about listening. You know, a lot of times we do not listen adequately. We really spend time in communicating our point of view, in communicating our message, or communicating that this is what we believe is right. Do we actually listen to each team member? Yeah. And the issue with digital media today, it so amplifies the situation where it becomes more of a one model mode of communication. Yeah. Where one person really talks, the others are listening. There is very limited collaboration that's actually happening to a large extent. However, sometimes when the collaboration does happen, there is a bit of blur that also takes place. Some communication is lost. So this is something that I think every leader of today must be conscious of, must have an agenda. And I'll come to what is the best way to structure a conversation, a meeting, and to ensure that how this becomes more productive. Yeah. So the aspect of listening, to my mind, is so very key to ensure that whatever we hear, we understand, we interpret that. And that is where empathy really lies. Yeah. Of course, once you interpret, you convert that into something that you can analyze, think, and then you create a solution, and therefore, create a solution around thinking, making, checking, and delivering what's required. So I think these aspects are very, very important, because if you're able to continue to hold this in the digital world, it will be far more useful going forward. Yeah. So how does really empathetic behavior help us today? Yeah. It really today helps us build trust and respect for each one another. Because if we are able to listen to each one and understand and appreciate each one's perspective and point of view, we will start building stronger trust and stronger behavior and stronger respect with each other. So let me pause here and give you an example of a real experience that I think is truly important. Yeah. So an experience here is, there's a new manager who has a brand new team, yeah, and who he has built just before the lockdown took place, and suddenly the team is dispersed, yeah. So they haven't really gotten to really be able to synergize with each other better. But it's very important that this manager is able to build the synergy with the team. So what really took place during this entire period of 60 odd days when this scenario took place, the ability to start having regular conversation, the ability to start dealing with each other better, that actually was really important to bring out the best in one another. And that also helped build trust and respect for the new manager that was leading the team. The second important aspect is about focusing on understanding the emotional side of each individual that is there in the team. With people working distantly and remotely, sometimes emotions are not truly understood, on a phone call or on a web call. And sometimes that gets lost. So really having that conversation time and again, helping go move people on the flip side to understand people far better. Those are aspects that enable release of emotions and brings about much more flexibility in people understanding each other better. You know, with the stress that businesses are incurring today, there's a huge amount of stress that's there. Yeah, and that stress obviously will have a resultant impact on each team needing to deliver to that stress and to that aspect. And sometimes the manager or the leader, in the endeavor to deliver the best, okay, in the scenario of today, they find it really difficult to really engage more effectively with the people. And so the aspect of really ensuring that you have light moments with people, you release stresses and you really release tensions of people, those are very, very important to ensure empathetic behavior really makes a difference over there. Yeah. What happens in a scenario where you have constantly driving a particular model of communication and ensuring that this is a way, it's either this way or it's either my way or the highway. So a lot of leaders actually have a very autocratic method of leadership where they constantly driving their method of working. Yeah. So really, when you actually bring in empathetic behavior in your method of leading people, it really helps people, discover each other better. It helps people, showcase information that's important and pertaining to the organization or pertaining to the case being discussed. So I think these are very, very important to ensure that empathetic behavior are going to make leadership behavior far more important. And of course, two critical aspects on creating an environment that's conducive for collaboration, yeah, which is very, very critical in today's scenario where collaboration is so very important with every one of us being distanced apart. So creating an environment that's safe, that's conducive for collaboration and also for ensuring better and stronger problem solving as we go apart. Yeah. And with this background, I wanted to talk about another aspect of today's scenario where I think it's very important for each leader of today to stay connected at various points in time, ensure that you are enabled to support emotional health and well-being of the people. How does every leader go about doing this? They ensure this by actually regularly having conversations with each team member, ensuring that they are able to bring in stronger emotional connect with each team member and ensure that they are really aware of what's really happening with each team member in this current scenario. Being kind, being considerate, having a conversation that's truly important actually really is so important in scenarios where people are distanced, and also helping promote a real balance between work today and anything that's beyond work. Why is this so critical? Because with digital technologies completely invading our scenario, it's more of work-life integration that we all are talking about. But sometimes for a number of people, it's important for leaders to understand what are some of the challenges their team members are really facing. And there are a number of challenges that people are facing from an emotional point of view. Look at scenario where there's a scenario where someone from the team has actually contacted the COVID virus. Or let us look at a scenario where someone from the team member's family have actually also contacted this scenario, or there is a scare in the vicinity. So all this has an emotional drain on each employee, and really understanding them in today's scenario is very, very important. Engaging with them regularly, how are they coping up with that? So besides this, I think, in today's scenario, there are also an impact to the elderly that's actually happening. A lot of households have got are people living with parents. It's had an impact with them. Helping employees really cope up with these numerous challenges, which are not sometimes visible behind the screen, I think is very important for every leader of today to emphasize that empathy is going to continue to be the method to ensure that they are better and stronger and better connected with each team member. Yeah. So providing comfort in monitoring, issues where you have signs of struggle that exist with people, for example, distress, social withdrawal issues, poor performance. You may have scenarios of that nature where people suddenly felt isolated. And I can give you an example where, suddenly when this happened, a lot of people actually felt isolated for a period of time. And it was very important that each leader came to the front and actually brought the entire team together. What actually happened in this isolation? You had scenarios of social withdrawal, you had scenarios of poor performance of people, that actually had a big toll on people, on driving performance. Yeah. And there were scenarios where you also had people where families and loved ones required additional attention and support that would make a difference. So really asking employees to manage both work and basically family time is very important, that there is no blur in the situation. Yeah. So the situation, and I think it's very important with physical distancing, being more and more a thing of today, ensuring that there are constant checks that take place, encouraging that people get virtually connected at various points in times, reinforcing employees that you are sympathetic, yeah, you're empathetic to every situation, maintaining really an open door policy so that people can contact you or at various points in time. I think this, in my mind, will ensure that the situation far eases out for each one of us. Yeah. And I would like to conclude this first section by really talking about three aspects that actually will make empathy a great leader. Truly, through what I just said in the last 15-20 minutes, it talks about building stronger teams that work together. And I can tell you from my own experience that from the time we are able to get connected and able to work to get connected, even from on an empathetic point of view, we are able to draw stronger synergies with team members. Yeah. Stronger synergies with each team member. Each one, it's brought out the best in each one of us. Yeah. It's also to that extent ensured that we are able to generate a lot of loyalty for people. So people feel that, wow, this is a team that I want to aspire to work with. This is a team that I want to learn from. Every team member has its own strengths, has its own weaknesses, and it's important for the leader to play to each one's strengths. So really get insights on each one's strengths and really try and learn from each one and provide an environment for better and stronger learning from each other. Yeah. And yeah. Yeah. So the entire aspect of developing people skills and helping people understand really better, ensuring that you have stronger dialogues with each one and engaged, and that will actually ensure that you have far more stronger and engaged and happier teams as you go by. Yeah. And I want to stop here and give you a quick, and show you a quick picture and ask you, what do you think out of this? What do you make out of this picture? Yeah. Feel free to answer in whatever way you want. What do you make out of this picture? So here's a picture. I believe a picture can say 1,000 words, and a picture can say 1,000, give you different interpretations. And I love doing this because I love photography. I love taking pictures, and I like interpreting. Okay, so Sonali says it's Steve's wearing others' shoes. Thanks, Harini. Togetherness, inclusion. All are part of a game, being in each other's shoes, absolutely. Breaking the norm, variety is a spice of life. Wow. Truly, we've got a lot of variety in understanding one image. Yeah. So just imagine all of us are given so many dimensions to just what one image is. Yeah. And the thing that actually caught my attention is what happens when you put yourself in someone else's shoes. Yeah. What truly happens? It's an interesting aspect of empathy. Yeah. When you put yourself in someone else's shoes, how do you feel? Would anyone want to take a shot of it? What happens when you put yourself in someone else's shoes? How do you really feel? Yeah, it is a tricky aspect. Yeah. Yeah. So someone mentions, so Anita, paradigm changes, better understanding and perspective. Uncomfortable in the first go, absolutely. Yeah. But gets to know how it feels like, gets present to what he's dealing. Yeah, empathy, absolutely, absolutely. So I think the first thing that happens when you put yourself in someone else's shoes, they may not be of the same size. Yeah, they may not be of the same color, which you can see. Certainly, that's something that's happened over there. Yeah. So there are shoes of different colors. They may not be of the same type. So you have someone wearing a sports shoes and someone wearing, what should I say, an office shoes. You have a lady wearing two different types of shoes. So the fit may not be appropriate. Yeah. But over time, if you're able to adjust yourself, adjust your feet into that, you would be able to walk far more effectively. Yeah. And today it can also help in helping each one of us understand, because another person's shoe is so very different from us. Yeah. And only when we step into someone else's shoes, that's when we will actually understand, that person's perspective. And I liked what some of you mentioned, getting to understand another person's perspective. Uncomfortable initially, yeah, but you will get to know how it feels like far more effectively. Yeah. And that, to my mind, is what I would really summarize as empathetic behavior. The ability to walk or get into someone else's shoes, uncomfortable first, or understand that person better first, and then start walking along with that person. You'd be able to understand far better, and you will actually be able to deliver far better. Yeah. And you might actually end up really you might end up bringing about a new trend. Yeah, a trend that's different. You'll also end up understanding that person's perspective. Why the red shoe, why the blue shoe? Yeah, this shoe is more comfortable, or this shoe is more tighter, or this shoe is a little bit higher. Yeah. So it's all about walking into, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, making sure you're assessing how they feel in their shoes, yeah, and not how you feel in their shoes. So the important aspect is making sure you assess, yeah, how they feel in their shoes, not how you feel in their shoes. And I think that's very important. That's a key. And that's the most trickiest part in this entire situation. So agreeing and relating to feelings of another is important in a given situation. Yeah. So understanding situations and understanding the ability to agree and relate to one another. Yeah. So that's a little perspective from my side on empathy. And I thought, I'll share with you some stories that are interesting, some stories that, to my mind, I think you will be able to relate to. And with that, I wanted to move to another very interesting aspect of emotional intelligence. Yeah. So what is EQ all about? Yeah, and EQ, to my mind, is the ability to understand and manage variety of emotions, at the same time recognize and influence the emotions of those around you, and that is the leadership trait of today. Yeah. So while it's important to understand and manage, and it's very important for me today to or a leader today, if you're not able to understand and appreciate emotions, you will find it truly difficult to manage these emotions. Yeah. And therefore, it's very important that as a leader that's leading a diverse team from variety of locations, of variety of baggages that people bring, how do you really recognize that and bring that together to influence the emotions of the surrounding or the team around you? Yeah. So it's important. I think that is the key leadership trait. And in this section, we will actually talk about this aspect, and I'll try and give you some insights how emotional intelligence can actually bring out the best in each one of us. Yeah. So I think to start with, I think some of the key things that emotional intelligence really talks about, it's the ability to understand people, as I mentioned earlier. How do we really understand people far more better? Yeah, it's very important that we have, when you have diverse teams that are placed all across in different locations, the ability to understand people far better is truly what emotional intelligence is all about. It also talks about the ability to motivate people. Yeah, am I able to motivate a team that is far, it's diverse, that is dispersed, and that is also working closely with me? Yeah. And how do you work cooperatively? How do you collaborate very effectively? Because that's the important aspect of every leader, to drive stronger collaboration with each other. Yeah. Ability to sense people's emotions, and you will see a huge range of emotions that actually will transpire with one another. So ability to sense emotions of people and ensure that that you create an environment that is affable, resilient, and really optimistic. And I think an environment of this will really ensure that you have leaders that will build much more stronger and powerful and well-recognized teams for the future. Yeah. And I think this aspect of emotional intelligence is very, very important to drive a behavior that will actually be a behavior in the long run. Yeah. Now look at the situation, when you have teams that work effectively in a location. Yeah. When you're hiring or you're starting up a company, when you have people from different diverse backgrounds, you have a situation where people from different diverse backgrounds come together, and they're trying to put their best efforts together. Yeah. So when you're building a team, or in the process of building a team, you have a situation where everyone will come with a bit of their baggage of their earlier work or their earlier environment, and they will bring in that baggage into the current environment. Yeah. So it's important from a leadership perspective to really understand that team from an emotional standpoint. Yeah. How each one can deliver far much more better than where they are. Yeah. So pushing that level of delivery from where it currently is to the next level aspect is one of the true traits that any leader will be able to drive. Yeah. It's important to ensure that lead behavior, yeah, or emotions do not hijack behavior. Yeah. Emotions at any point in time, if it hijacks behavior, that is when you will have a situation where you would find it really difficult as a leader to drive an environment that is truly important. Yeah. Or to drive performance in an environment, because then you will be actually dealing with a lot of emotions to a very large extent. So ensure, from a leadership perspective, ensure that you do not allow emotions to really hijack behavior. Yeah. So if I look at it in today's scenario, and I think I will try and do a reference point of almost everything of today's scenario, because I think it's relevant, because that's the scenario that's actually changing and modifying the current situation and that actually exists. Yeah. So in today's scenario, where you have a lot has got to do with balancing of thinking and ensuring that there is a balance of feeling that actually takes place. So what really happens, and as a leader, the true aspect of really ensuring that you have playing that balancing act or that balancing role to ensure that whatever you're doing today is going to matter and be there for a long haul. Yeah. So ensuring that you're able to balance feeling, emotions, is very, very critical, because there is a lot that people are really going through. At the same time, taking that rational decision, taking that rational thought. So balancing these two is truly important. So let me give you an example over here. Yeah, you have a situation where you have a situation where there is some calamity in an employee's family, and as a leader, how quickly you're able to proactively be there for the family member, or be there in spirit for the family member, or for the employee, is very, very important. So ensuring that you're able to play this very effective balancing act is a matter of how leadership will actually get truly driven in a scenario of COVID today. Yeah. The second aspect is about ensuring that you're able to drive performance in a situation like this, because what actually happens is in everything, because finally organizations of today need to survive to organizations of tomorrow. So you will have a situation that organizations today are struggling. They're struggling with cost. They're struggling with mounting cost because of very variety of expenses that have been increasing. They're also struggling with leadership, is also struggling about looking into the future, what's going to actually happen from an overall demand and supply equation. Yeah. So that entire aspect of really balancing between the urgent, the important, and ensuring that you're able to create that one unified feeling is truly critical in this aspect. Yeah. And so therefore, today the biggest thing that's going through everyone's mind is, how do we really challenge today's status quo? So let me give you a quick example over here. Yeah. And this was when the lockdown got opened up. Yeah, which was where government allowed factories to recommence operations, and 4th of May we decided to restart our operations. Yeah. So what really happened when we initially started operations? There was obviously a very slow trickle of people wanting to come back to work. What happened? There was a lot that went on to their mind. Yeah. The first thing that went on to their mind, is it a safe work? Is it a safe place? Yeah. Just imagine, everyone has gone through almost 1.5 months of data that they've been constantly receiving from news, television, friends, WhatsApp groups against how COVID-19 is dangerous and the worst thing to happen. But so that's the thing that went through a lot of people's minds. So there was a lot of apprehensive of coming back to work. Yeah. And so therefore it was so very important for each team leader, and we coach some of them to help them understand that this is an environment that is safe. This scenario will go on for a long haul. We cannot stop operations. We have to continue with what we are currently doing. Yeah. And with that, slowly we helped people understand that we have to move back and we have to get back to work if we have to survive. Yeah. And most organizations quickly restarted operations. While initially the people started trickling in, we went out to people, we reached out to people. Okay. We contacted them, ensured that they are constantly in touch with each other, with us, and we help them understand that we will come and pick you up and assure you and your family that it's a safe work environment. And I think very quickly, in 7 to 10 days, this entire scenario changed. Yeah. This entire scenario changed because we helped people understand that if you are going to continue with the current status quo, yeah, and you will never challenge it and you will never move forward. Yeah. So the focus of everyone was that you need to understand how this emotion that's actually going through each one's mind, you need to help them understand that how we can be better prepared to move forward and be more resilient in the future. Yeah. And so therefore, what we actually started to do very quickly was ensure that stronger and stronger communication went off to each one of each and every one. Yeah. And that actually helped bring about more empathy, yeah, helped engage with people, helped release potential of people. And today, I'm very happy to tell you that the entire environment looks very different from how it looked some time back. So what did it really mean for each one of us? We helped every individual or every manager or every team leader to really extract or help people from an emotional standpoint really understand what people were thinking, what they were feeling, and help them understand that we need to get back. There will be various challenges that will be faced, and we are prepared to face these challenges, but we will need to bounce back and be more resilient in the future. Yeah. And that really helped in accelerating performance. And today we have a far more performing bunch of people, and a team that is hugely motivated to a very large extent, and are actually driving performance stronger and stronger. Yeah. Yeah. And what this really results in, it will result in ensuring that a number of managers will get built. We will be able to make stronger leaders for the future. We will make far more effective managers going forward, because we are able to build this culture of ensuring that the emotional, yeah, connect is stronger with each one. And today, when we look at a team, we see a far more productive team, yeah, a far more bunch of happier people, and a far more people who are focused on some of the business of the key business deliverables are there. So this entire model has worked so very effectively, and I think the proof of the pudding is actually in the eating, which actually shows that the managers came back together and they were been able to truly inspire some of the youngsters to really bring out the best in each one of them, and of course, ensure that they are able to build stronger relationships with each one of them. Yeah. So if I were to broadly, put this together, there's been a very high emotional, intellectual connect with one's own emotion, and there will be a strong ability to really recognize, relate, and influence emotions of others. And I think that's truly very important. And if you are able to actually strive and move forward on this aspect, as teams, it's important to be far more effective. And therefore, as an from an emotional standpoint, the stronger connect that business has with people, the stronger connect that ensures that business outcomes get derived out of it. And here I want to pause and just help you understand how we actually also did it in in our company some time back. Is during the situation where people got distance, we actually brought them together. We actually had fun moments together. We actually ensured that teams were able to, the leaders were able to connect with each one, once individually as well as collectively, to really help each team member understand from a business standpoint, where do we grow from today? Yeah. How do we grow for today? We also made it fun. So we also had, things like, people joined in for a happy evening where everyone wore hats and came and, made it very light and made people feel it's a good moment and it's a fun moment. And I think that's actually truly brought out the productivity of people, and people felt more charged and more happy about working stronger and working together. So let me pause here at one more, at this point in time, and show you another picture. And so what do you make out of this picture? I'm sure all of you must have seen this movie, and I'm sure all of you know this movie very well. I think truly it's a movie that I loved, I enjoyed. Very apprehensive when I saw some of the promos earlier, but I think it was a movie that brought. So I hear shared happiness, absolutely. Camaraderie, teamwork with support and joy. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody has their own skills, absolutely. Togetherness, absolutely. A leader leading the pack, truly. Ruchi says, all are unique and together we can win. Concentrating on our strengths. Winners of yeah, absolutely. Winners of all types. Freedom of expression. Leadership redefined. Wow. Wow. So I got so many variations from each one of you. Yeah. And the way I see this as managing emotions to achieve success. Yeah. And if you remember this movie truly talked about managing emotions to achieve success. So you if you recall the movie, you recall those moments, you recall each one of them had so many different skills. Yeah, yeah. And I think in this movie, Amir Khan truly draw out the emotions of each one of them. Yeah, he ensured that they believed in themselves. Yeah, he ensured that they could work together. They could work together and achieve success. Yeah, he actually ensured that he could inspire each one of them, and each one of them looked up to him for inspiration. Truly, that's what they believed. You could see that they felt this entire aspect of winning. They felt so happy, having won. They ensured that they delivered what they were to deliver, which is win the match. Yeah. I think these are aspects that truly came out in this entire aspect of managing emotions, and for a leader to manage different emotions of different throughout the movie, if you recall, there was different aspects that actually ensured that he were able to bring out the best of each person. Yeah, and I loved the points given on concentrating on each one's strengths. I think this is truly remarkable because it's each one's strengths that actually build and make a stronger team that were able to deliver together. The other point that I think was unique is I think that talks about all are unique and together we can win. So each one had so very different skill sets. If you recall, each one had so much of differentiation in that sense. But when they came together, they were able to deliver this far more better and far more stronger. Yeah. And I think the other aspect of ensuring that you have moments of emotion where you can share happiness, where you can celebrate happiness, where you can celebrate achievement, where you can celebrate the best that you have done. I think these really have truly brought out the strength of a leader leading a pack of all these people. Yeah, he chose to carefully identify each one. Yeah, and through that mechanism was able to bring out the strengths of each one of them. Yeah, yeah, perfect. Sorry, I'm just trying to toggle between screens of the chat. So yeah. Okay, so with that, we'll move to the third one, which is the third leadership at work, which is a leadership of work that's truly invaded us in all forms, which is virtual leadership. Yeah. And I think in today's times, virtual work is the test of true leadership. Yeah. And why I say that because when we are so distant apart, we're really sure and connected that whether people are actually productive, and so that's a lot to do with each one's mind in terms of understanding that people are still productive and people are doing what they're supposed to do and people are doing it even better. Yeah. So really, this leadership trait talks about leading a virtual team, yeah, requires not only immense level of trust, but also kindness, compassion, and patience for one another. So I think this is so very important. So kindness, compassion, and patience for one another was so very important to really believe that the test of true leadership has actually happened in a scenario of virtual format. Yeah. And over here, I wanted to talk about a few aspects of how virtual leadership has actually changed the entire game today. Yeah, it's not that virtual leadership did not exist before. Surely it did. It did exist before. You had multinational organizations with operations all across. You had people working across, and you still had people. You had managers or you had leaders in one location, and you had teams working in diverse locations. So people did work, and they did work very, very successfully in the past. Yeah, but the flavor of having almost every team, including location teams, work virtually, has actually challenged the complete mindset. Yeah, and here today I wanted to talk about how, very interestingly, managers never believed that virtual work could actually could actually be more effective. Yeah, they truly believe that they would like to see each team sit in front of them and work. Yeah, and now that entire paradigm has gotten challenged, right, today. And so therefore, that's actually brought out a new skill of managing teams virtually and making them far more effective. Yeah. And through the conversation of this, I'm going to try and share some stories, some aspects of how virtual leadership has really been has been challenged today. There's been a lot of apprehension in a lot of leaders' minds, but uh, it is here to stay, and it is here to bring out and drive far more efficiency and effectiveness. Yeah. Yeah. So I think so I wanted to talk about four key aspects of virtual leadership, and I think they are so very critical to success of teams working in different locations and working in a far more diverse setup. Yeah, the first aspect is about communication, and really in today's scenario. Many would argue that leading a virtual team would require the same leadership skills. Yeah. Um, while I'm saying most of it is true, but I think leading a traditional team is it's more relevant over there. But however, is this really the case in today's scenario? And today we're going to be trying to talk and challenge some of the beliefs and myths and thoughts that were actually there, yeah, in the past. So the key over here, yeah, fundamentals of leadership have really held true in really both cases where leadership has been virtual, and of course where they offer unique and significant changes have actually taken place in today's work environment. Yeah. So the first aspect is on communication, and I thought it's very important today for leaders to really understand that it's important that you use different methods and different means of communication that brings teams that are closer together. with reference to, regular normal modes of communications, which is phone calls, emails, text messages, and so on and so forth, video conferencing. Of course, this actually ensures that people are far more closer together in a virtual scenario. The second aspect is about constant and prompt and timely communication. Lot many times with people distanced apart, the aspect of or people not working, the aspect of timely communication sometimes is very, very important, as people start getting to understand that, hey, is my work really important today? Yeah. And I think the entire perspective of ensuring that the fundamentals of ensuring timely communication that is consistent, prompt, and instant, which is actually ensures that the team is truly guided well, and ensures that it drives stronger synergies among all the team members. Yeah. And so over here, I think in this method, this model, communication, more and more communication is important. But on the flip side, I want to caution that it's important to ensure that, it shouldn't be excessive. Yeah. Because it tends to tire people. Yeah. You need to also understand that, when you're having these communication sessions, you need to understand that also people will be at multiple locations and will have multiple challenges in their own ecosystem. Yeah. And therefore, that is very, very important that we are able to recognize that aspect. Yeah. The second one is on trust, and here again, I want to take a moment to talk to you about aspect of trust. Yeah. As I spoke earlier, a number of managers truly believed that, my teams must be sitting in front of me, must be in the same location where I worked. Today, that entire belief has been challenged. So the ability to trust people while they are working remotely or while they're working where they are working is so important to ensure that you are able to bring out the best in each one of them. Yeah. So I think the teams should really have a clear understanding, yeah, of what is expected of them. Yeah. So therefore, it's important to communicate from a leadership perspective what is expected of each team member. When is virtual working is important on a project or an environment where they need to focus on asking questions, getting clarity, or whatever is important, and ensuring that the information is deciphered and available. Yeah. A number of models have actually emerged, and I have different points of view so therefore some models where organizations have pretty quickly put into implementation task management, where the leader will assign certain tasks across to people, and then tasks will get done and they will report back. Now, uh, while this is a good model of ensuring that people are working together, working effectively together, it also ensures that you're able to draw synergies with each team member. But I think if you're able to trust the team and ensure you give them flexibility, you will actually drive far more productivity with each one of them. Yeah. The third one is on providing more and more clarity. Yeah. And here, I think it's important that as a team leader or to really clearly, while people are dispersedly working, to ensure that there's a clear division of roles, responsibilities, tasks, and assign that. So when any leadership call that actually happens, there must be clear assignment of who would do what. So there's a clear division of task, responsibility, delivery, and timeline to that. Yeah. So I think in that aspect, there is a clear understanding of who's supposed to do what. Or otherwise, what will happen, you will have a scenario where these tasks sometimes will fall off the radar. Yeah. These tasks will sometimes will neither be here nor there. Yeah. So that I think is important. And also ensuring there is an overall process that is really followed to ensure that whatever is done is also reported in the form of reports or results that actually take place. Yeah. So finally, whatever task translates into a deliverable, and whatever deliverable will translate into a resultant impact that will take place. Yeah. Yeah. So that it's also important that today teams understand that there are certain deadlines that need to be maintained, targets that have been signed up with the boards, and therefore, as organizations, we need to work cohesively together to ensure we are able to deliver to that extent. Yeah. So clarity of goals, clarity of deliverables, and understanding of the end objective is important to ensure that whatever I'm doing there is a line of sight of what I'm doing for an overall larger organization. Yeah. So clarifying the purpose that to each individual, showing them a line of sight to the departmental goals and then to the organization goals, that helps each one understand that today, whatever I am doing, yeah, whatever I'm doing today will actually ensure that I'm able to deliver a little bit of whatever I'm doing to my organization as an overall. And today, organizations have also created mechanisms to ensure that there is a line of sight between individual performance, team performance, and company performance. Yeah. And once that line of sight is established, there is a clear clarity of how my goals actually start and where do they transpire and where do they end up. Yeah. And the last part of it is on supporting. Yeah. Uh, a, a number of with people working today in a virtual environment, it's very important to understand that sometimes people get everyone's getting isolated, and sometimes people are also getting lonely and getting what should I say, hassled with what's really happening today. Yeah. It has a toll. It has a toll on the energy. It has a toll on excitement of people. Sometimes you will end up joining a meeting where the energy levels are extremely low. It ensures that creating and working from office with other team members, I've actually gone down to that extent. And here I think as a virtual leader, it's very important to ensure that how team members are doing from all perspectives, from an emotional perspective as well. So, and speak to them at various points in time, understand how this will work and help build this more productively. Yeah. So there are certain very, very important skills that are really required that will ensure that we are able to lead virtually. Yeah. Of course, it goes without saying that without the use of technology, this would not help. So this is understood. But I think the aspect of also recognizing small wins, yeah, recognizing small achievements, yeah. Lot many times this gets lost, where small achievements that teams have worked with. Everyone's working in their own environment, and getting all to a small call and saying, hey, wow, this is something that we did well, and this person really contributed to making this uniquely different. And having that moment of thumbs up, or that moment of applause on a call can actually boost morale of a number of people who are so dispersed. So the idea is whatever you had in your normal environment needs to be migrated to a virtual environment. It's not that, because it's virtual, you can't do it. Yeah. So find those moments to reward, find those moments to recognize, find those moments to praise people, find those moments to celebrate achievement and celebrate success. Yeah. I think that will draw out a strong behavior with teams to work far more effectively and to work towards a collective purpose. Yeah. The third one is about trying and being more proactive and staying in contact with people. So a lot many times because people are so far apart, we really tend to ignore where all they are located. Yeah. Yeah. So, focus on, calling up people at times when it's unexpected, and, having a conversation ensures that you're able to to establish that connect, which is beyond just only work. Yeah. So sometimes you can have actually a virtual meeting with wherein the leader meets the entire team and just has a session, maybe one-on-one or maybe with a group of people, where you're discussing everything that's not work. Yeah. And I think this is so crucial and important to ensure that virtual leadership is important. Yeah. We spoke about the element of trust and ensuring that you're able to bring stronger motivation. And of course, we spoke about aspects of, tracking goals and ensuring that we are moving forward in our agenda. Because as an organization, each organization, it's important to not only keep moving forward on the agenda and finding ways to survive and revive and thrive actually in a scenario like this. Yeah. So ensure that we are moving forward on our agenda, moving forward on our goals, creating excitements within the teams to work on new projects and new assignments. Yeah. Setting up, expectations that of course will be fulfilled. So it should be more realistic given the scenario, but set up as expectations and celebrate those achievements as and well. So to my mind, I think this aspect of virtual leadership has truly been challenged in today's scenario, and truly, I think, brought out a different model of leadership. Yeah, and I want to pause here and give you a small example. I'll give you a small example of how, when I actually set up a few calls with my team a couple of months back, when we actually started connecting on digital mechanism more often together, we felt that initially there was a lot of disturbance in terms of, how do we connect, how do we ensure that we are able to work on a common agenda. And that's where it was very important from a leadership perspective to draw out an overall agenda for the team, who is responsible for what, and bring out each one's skills of actually leading a particular point or leading a particular topic. Because in scenarios like this, what really happens is, it tends to become more one way. It tends to become more one-sided, where, the leader is talking and the team is listening. But I thought what we actually brought about in every meeting, there was an opportunity given to each one to actually lead a session or lead a particular aspect. Yeah. So that actually brought about distributed virtual leadership. Yeah. And I want to bring out this point over here because it's not only about, leading from top, but also giving each team member from each team member an opportunity to lead a particular session. Yeah. So in every session, there was a leader for each session, and there were contributors from the rest, and they were that's how it made. So what happened is each one had this opportunity to deliver, each one had an opportunity to present, and each one had an opportunity to sharpen their skills of how to bring about stronger collaboration with each one another. Yeah. Uh, Today, of course, the team is very diverse, but slowly and surely, as time passed by, I could visibly see that significant improvement in each one's ability to collaborate with each other. So what started off as, sometimes a little bit of a difficulty with people who are possibly presenting for the first time, or with teams who are possibly contributing for the first time, that started to change. And then that's when we realized that, the entire team could work far more effectively, even in a mechanism like this. It brought about a huge emotional connect with each one another. Yeah, it brought about very, very strong synergies with each team member. Yeah, and I think uh, I would like to say that, this entire method of virtual connect got truly challenged when we initially started. And today, all of us truly believe that we can connect far more effectively and deliver collective brilliance going forward. Yeah. So if I were to summarize broadly, what would be a roadmap for virtual leadership? It really talks about 5 areas of the power of connections, which is building virtual relationships one-on-one. And I think through this mechanism, I think we not only have virtual relationships, but we have even more personal relationships going forward. The second is about running and ensuring digitally we are constantly in touch and able to convey messages and work together more effectively. So the power of digital, the power of calibration, which is about ensuring stronger accountability and ensuring delivery from each team member. The power of collaboration, which is ensuring that you're able to bring out individual strengths and harness those strengths. So that's the point that I said that, how are we able to ensure each one could pick up topics that is of their interest and actually deliver on those topics. Yeah. And the power of celebration, which is ensure that, whatever, when we achieved and completed a particular task, we actually celebrated, saying that this is something that we have done and we have done very well and very effectively. Yeah. So it has 5 powers: the power of connection, the power of digital, the power of calibration, collaboration, and celebration. Yeah. And I think in my mind, this model of leadership will be truly engaging, and it will ensure that we are able to ensure we are bringing out the best of teams, because that's the true responsibility of every leader, to try and bring out the best and the strongest teamwork from each one of us. Yeah. So I'm giving you again quickly take you back to the example. We quickly connected on Google Meets or Teams to initially to get ourselves all together, or on Zoom to get ourselves together initially. We quickly use the power of ensuring that we are able to calibrate, both accountability. So we've created our balance scorecard for the year, and we assigned responsibilities to each one, and each one actually took over one responsibility, various areas that they need to do, and they actually ensured that they presented that. And once we closed every aspect, we actually celebrated that moment. So this is the proof of how we've effectively managed and made it work. And today it's succeeding even more better than ever. Yeah. Yeah. I think a part of this is what I've really covered, but I thought it's important to leave behind certain aspects of how this works in today's scenario and how to make it work more effectively, because there are certain hiccups that we went through when we initially started working together and collaborating together. And I'm sharing some of my experiences in this. So I think the first most important aspect was, set certain ground rules. So let's set a schedule, set a timetable. If you want this to work, collaboration to work better, set a schedule. So we had a work schedule that we said that, every point in time, at X point of time to this point in time, we would meet, and we will have a predetermined agenda. We will discuss the agenda, and there will be discussions on way forward and what needs to be done in the way forward aspect. Yeah. We set certain ground rules with regards to ensuring that, people are on time and are available, and to whatever extent possible, if there is limited distraction, it is better. I think virtual working has really amplified punctuality, because today it ensures that there are no traffic jams to ensure that people are able to come and work together. There are virtually no delays, except maybe a little bit of a digital or internet delay or internet challenge that might happen, but those are small moments. But really, punctuality is something that we emphasize, that people come on time and people will exit the meeting on time. And I think the more we focused on punctuality, the more we realized that we were able to ensure that teams got together, worked together, and were able to do their other work or personal work or whatever it is in their own time. So, punctuality, setting a schedule, I think was very important. I spoke about the other aspect of appreciating, wins, appreciating work that went well, and of course, the other point that I spoke about of experiences is try to make it more creative, make it more fun. So not every time you have an agenda for work, you can have an agenda for, just getting together for an evening on a Friday or a Saturday, or maybe like a holiday like today, where everyone shares some light moments, some fun, some stories of the past, anything that they would like to share, or just get together, like how you would normally have a coffee break in an office, and really enjoy those moments and have fun in that sense. So really, I think this has gone a long way, and I think virtual leadership will be a way forward of how the world will work. It will be more and more effective. It will be more and more stronger as we go by. I think if I were to quickly summarize, what we've seen through empathy, through emotional intelligence, and through virtual leadership. I think these are three skills that have truly been amplified in the last 1.5, 3 months, where you've seen significantly work behaviors changing, significantly an opportunity for leadership behavior also needing to be modified to ensure that you are able to drive the new model of employment, a new model of work. Yeah. So I'm now going to have a little different kind of a round, and I'm going to play a small rapid fire game. Yeah, and I'm sure you guys have seen this serial, right? I'm sure you've seen Coffee with Karan. Yeah. So we're going to have a little bit of a light moment towards the end of closing of the session. It's a light moment on trying to understand your perspective on various aspects. Yeah. So instead of doing coffee with Karan, we shall do coffee and cream with Colin. Yeah. Works good. Yeah. So I'm going to try and do this, and we'll have a little bit of we'll try and drive a lot of creativity from each one of you. Try and have a little bit of fun, and I think a number of folks who are joined on today's call, I'm sure you do a lot of work whenever you post things on social media. You do a hashtag, yeah, and so we'll do a little bit of a hashtag game. It's a simple hashtag game, but we'll try and have a little fun with it. I'll try and see how much of creativity comes out with it, and we'll try and really understand what all you will be able to bring together. Yeah. So here goes the game. Okay, so it's very simple. I'm going to show you a picture, and you can quickly hashtag it in your comment box, and let's hear from you what you have interesting over here. Yeah. So here goes. Yeah, feel free to put your comments in the comment box. Okay, here goes. I can see Sonali says dance in rhythm. Lovely. Okay. Vikas says huge hashtag energy, hashtag discipline, hashtag expressions. Okay. I'm sure there's lots more creativity with all of you guys around. I like this one, hashtag energy. As you can see, there's everyone dancing with a lot of energy, a lot of rhythm, and keep during these times when there's limited mobility, ensure that you have those moments to dance and keep fit and stay energetic. Okay, so Sonali says, free yourself. Yes, absolutely, free yourself. Yeah. Ranjit says energy. Absolutely. I think nothing better than to dance with a whole lot of energy around. Any more coming? I'll give you my perspective. I love pictures and I love making stories out of pictures. So that's my whole thing. Coordination. Yeah, Ekta, thanks. Ekta, hashtag coordination. Okay, so here's my rhythm in mind and group. Wow. Okay, hashtag rhythm in mind and group. Okay. Okay, so here's my perspective of togetherness. Hemal, thank you. Hashtag togetherness. Okay, so here goes. Here's my perspective of this. Just a minute. I'm just toggling between the chat screen, so there's a bit of a yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I got numerous interesting ones from all of you, and I think everyone loves doing hashtags today, you know, because you just want to ensure that you get tagged to a larger following umbrella. So here's what when I saw this picture, this is what I felt it conveyed. Yeah, so it conveyed to me hashtag lead with example. So you have someone who's actually yeah, you have someone who's actually the trainer over there, and you have the entire group over there, you know, following that. I think that's very critical and very important, and a strong leadership trait today in today's scenario, where you actually are able to convey that example, convey that meaning to a far larger spectrum of people, where you're able to bring out the best in each one of them. Yeah, so leading with example is truly something that you're able to convert and have stronger and more leaders as you build up a stronger community of people who would lead and team leaders who would lead. Yeah. So I'm going to do one more picture, and we'll continue the hashtag game, and we'll need to have it more rapid fire. Okay. So the coffee with, I'll go back. Sorry. So remember, coffee and cream with Colin. So that's the game, right? Okay. So we're going to do some more and bring out more creativity and more quicker. Okay. I don't have a timer in this. I wish I could do that, but there are limitations on Zoom. So nevertheless, okay. So here goes the next picture. Vision. So Hemal says vision, super. Sonali says hashtag clear vision. Harini, clarity. Clarity of vision, clarity, larger view. Wow. Larger view, clarity. Okay, superb. Looking at detail. That's nice. Hashtag look at detail. Hashtag vision. Hashtag through my eyes. Wow, this is truly nice. Thanks, Anita, for that. Okay. Okay. So really, when I looked at this picture, and I must tell you, I love pictures. Okay, I'm going to repeat it every now and again because I'm so passionate about pictures, photography, images, and seeing places. Okay, but when I looked at this picture, I felt that wow, this is something that that truly inspired me again from a leadership perspective. Yeah, and here's what I felt. Yeah. Yeah. So here's what I felt. I said it's to stay focused. And why did I pick this up today? Because I think today leaders are juggling between so many aspects of today. They're juggling with so many aspects of profitability, business continuity, emotions that are there at the workplace, managing emotions of team members and situations, trying to work virtually. So they're actually juggling a number of aspects, and they're finding it so very difficult to do that. Yeah. And so the important is to stay focused and convey that focus to each team member. Yeah, ensuring that whatever you continue to do, you continue to stay focused in what you're doing. So if you sign up, at the beginning of the year, you sign up with the board, you agree on particular results, you ensure that you are able to deliver the results. Very often, non-performance for this year in most organizations will clearly be seen that, hey, COVID came in, so, we weren't able to deliver. But the ability to try and stay focused and see how you're able to deliver in situations like this, is actually, yeah, try and see how you're able to deliver in a scenario like this, and drive collective delivery really actually is something that made a difference. Yeah. So the ability to stay focused on targets, ensure that you had the entire team humming behind you.
I'm on a webinar.
To deliver that focus will as actually mentioned and enable that to that extent possible. So staying focused, to my mind, I think is very, very critical from a leadership perspective, particularly in today's scenario, whether, when you're dealing with emotional issues, when you're dealing with empathy, when you're dealing with, working virtually with teams that are so very diverse. I think this is very, very key, and I wanted to leave you with this message. So here goes. There's a third one, and I will try and show you this one. Okay. So here you have another one. Okay, so I'll bring you back to the same movie because I really like that movie, and I thought, hashtag this picture. This picture was truly insightful, and this is a very, very interesting moment if you recall in this movie. Zest. So Himal says, Zest, plan your moves. Okay, Sonali says, plan your moves. Thank you, Sonali. Medika says, hashtag unity. Wow, thank you, Medika. Look at that moment. Takes you back to that movie. What really happened during this time? It was an intense moment. You can see the intensity in Amir Khan's eyes. I can see it too. Yeah. Observe, hashtag observe, Vikas, hashtag analyze. Sonali says, hashtag understanding the weaknesses. Wow, okay, lovely. Hashtag curiosity. Wow. You got so many different, what I love about doing this game? I get so many different answers for my next game. And I'm going to use all your brilliant answers for my next game, trust me, whenever I do it again. Okay, so let me come to what I thought about when I actually saw this picture and when I saw this movie, of course. Yeah. So hashtag unlocking potential. Yeah. Okay. And why I selected this, because I think this is one very strong leadership trait today, wherein it's so very difficult in remote working or in virtual working as a leader to really try and unlock that potential in each one. Yeah. And you have so many gems, so many sparks in your team to really try and unlock that potential of each individual. And I think if you recall this movie, it is a moment where the captain of the team actually carefully selected each one to take on that role, okay, to take on that role and to be that team player, whether he was a bowler or a fielder or the opening batsman, to take on that role that truly brought out the strength in each one. Yeah. And I think that really applies for today's scenario in a digital age where virtual leadership is going to be is going to be more stronger. ensuring that you're able to unlock potential of each team member is going to be far more interesting. Yeah. And I think in that this entire movie actually moved me when I was actually watching it, how he was able to find people, uh, how he was able to bring out the strength in each one, and how he was able to actually consider each one for a particular role and unlock true potential in each one to actually become a true winner in that sense. Yeah. And I think this was the other one that's there. Um, yeah, so we are almost towards the end of the Coffee with Kareem Collins show, and thanks for all these amazing responses. I truly loved the responses. There's this. It's what you feel, what you see, what you observe, and what you write. Yeah, and it's truly how creative you really are to look at every picture. I hope through this fun moment and this fun exercise, when you look at a picture next time, you think of it from a different perspective, that how does this relate to me, to particular topic or a topic like this. When I was when I was putting content on this topic, I actually looked at how does this picture, what's the message that this picture convey to me. And I truly hope that when you look at pictures, images, and stuff like that, you will try and unlock a new potential in you to really drive more meaning to every image. Yeah. And so with that, I wanted to really quickly summarize all that we discussed today in a nutshell. The aspect of putting oneself in others' shoes. Yeah. Interesting aspect when you can see through empathy, very, very important leadership trait, leadership skill, where sometimes, putting yourself in another person's shoes is not as simple as it looks like. But, the ability to do that, to understand someone far more better, truly draws out the best in you. The second one, which we spoke about, is managing emotions, to deliver out the best in everyone. I think we spoke about emotions are extremely strong, and you've seen it everywhere. You can ensure that you can draw emotions to deliver better team performance, better collective performance, better delivery, as well as you can bring out the best in each other. Yeah. So managing emotional intelligence to bring out the best is one of the second important aspects of leadership. And I think the third is staying connected in a dispersed team when we're all so far away. How do we stay connected? How are we more effective? How are we more productive? These are three key areas that make a team performance far stronger. If you ask me which is more important, there isn't anyone that is more important or more stronger or more deeper. But I think each of these aspects of leadership are truly, if followed in the right sense and the right emotion and the right method, will actually draw out better team performance and stronger organization performance. Yeah. And so with that, I really have come virtually to the end of my questions, and then I'll be happy to hear from you if you have. So with that, a big thank you, all of you, and I'll eagerly wait for questions that you have. When I picked up this, again, I love images, as I said, I like, and I'll tell you what this actually told me. It speaks about leadership today is one of the most heavily tested skills, yeah, in today's pandemic. Most heavily tested skills in today's pandemic. And I think, we all have been challenged, and a number of leaders across the world have been challenged. Today, you're seeing this happen everywhere. I am sure, and I'm extremely confident that amidst all this rain, all the storm, all the cloudy skies, yeah, there will be brighter days, and the new dimension of leadership will actually emerge. Yeah. And I truly believe that, through these truly dark moments that all of us are experiencing, there will be a new, brighter, a new, more colorful a new. I wish I could put the colors of the national flag, but never mind. But yeah, a new colorful leadership of will emerge that will truly make a difference to a larger set of corporate India, a larger set of corporates all across the world, a more conducive team, a more productive team, a highly engaged team, and a team that will truly ensure that they bring out the best in each one of them. So that's about it that I have to talk about. Three aspects. I try to crunch whatever I could in today's time schedule. I wanted to keep some time to engage if there are any questions, if there are clarifications, if there's anything that that anyone has, or any comments that any of you have. I'd be more than happy to hear those comments or clarifications or questions. We've got about 10 minutes more, 8 to 10 minutes more, and I've reserved that time for interactions with you. Try to interact a little. I know it's digitally far away for each one of us. We're not able to meet in person, but this is what we could do on a lovely, beautiful weather and a great weather in Mumbai, beaming across to all of you. So thank you so much. Yeah, so look forward for any questions, any comments, any clarifications. Over to you.
Thank you, Mendes, Colin. This is like such a wonderful session that we had today. And now over to the attendees. I'm sure you have been listening very attentively to whatever Colin had to say. And towards the end, I think he made it a little more interactive and interesting also by this introducing the rapid fire round to all of us. And I really personally enjoyed that. So now if you have any questions, just put it in the chat box or in the question box, and we'll just quickly take it up. Or you can just mention how you like the session. I mean, that's also good enough for us.
Ekta, I would like Colin to elaborate one particular aspect. While the questions are coming, Colin, so as a leader, when you're getting into other people's shoes and practicing empathy, there's always this thin line between empathy and sympathy. You start getting into biases. So what are your recommendations for a leader, and how do you ensure that you're just getting into other person's shoes to get a feel of it from their perspective and not really getting colored or biased by their feel? So how do you balance that, the bias?
Yeah, I think, thanks, Harani. I think the most important aspect most important area in ensuring that there is no bias in any a system like this is ensuring that, number one, there is collective agreement and understanding of, what you're doing and what you're doing that is important. Because in any action that the leader takes, there are sometimes difference in interpretations, differences in understanding, and there will be a room for people to start believing there is a bias in the system, and what you rightly said is important. So I think the aspect of communicating to the team, ensuring that the team understands what we did and what we did not do, then they need to also believe, and they need to collectively agree that, say that, this is what we did and this is what we truly believed made our team work together. Yeah. So that I think makes a big difference. And I want to illustrate this point, when you have a number of companies have reward and recognition programs. Yeah. And number of companies, when they have these programs, they have a situation where, the leader needs to reward one individual, or, based on whoever's done a great job. Sometimes what really happens, it becomes a rolling trophy, and that actually spoils the aspect of, teams working together, and also spoils the aspect of teams delivering superior performance. Because encouraging performance is not a rolling trophy. It's truly a method of rewarding a team that's actually done significantly well, exemplary performance in that sense. So I think the entire communication is very, very important. that the team comes together and the team truly believes that, hey, this person did a fabulous job and therefore needs to be recognized and rewarded. That's when you will actually ensure that, people believe that there is no bias. Otherwise, a number of times there's an aspect of bias that gets set in. It sometimes, puts people to feel that, hey, I don't think, I was, treated well. I should have got that. I should have been rewarded. And so therefore, it's very important that when this communication does happen, it happens in such a way that truly the entire team believes in that person. There are matrices that are there that indicate the delivery, or there are matrices that indicate why this person deserves to be rewarded. And I think if you have a system like that, that will truly bring out an unbiased situation. Okay, so yeah. Sorry, Harini, is that you
Yes.
okay with you? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Thanks, Colin, for answering that. So Brinda says that the session was very informative and interactive, and she would like to have more sessions from you on different topics. Then we have a question from Medika. She says, on empathy, our worldview can be different from the worldview of another person. Even if we step into their shoes, we may still have different feelings or views. The worldview can't change. So, how close can we get to it?
Yeah. So yeah. So when she mentioned about the worldview, I'm just trying to understand this question a little better. A worldview can be different from the worldview of others. So it's a perspective of mine versus someone else. So if we step into their shoes, we may still have a different feeling. But I think while understanding the feeling, it's important to also appreciate and understand a perspective that someone else is bringing across to the table that would be different, and therefore would need to be appreciated from that point of view, whether this is a perspective that is important, this is a perspective that will make a difference, this is a perspective that will be important for a way forward. And I think that makes a difference. So it's not about we may have a different feeling and a different point of view, but appreciating that point of view is really important. And finally, a decision is a final decision. And like, for example, what we always say, we may agree or we may agree to disagree, but as long as we've appreciated that person's perspective, as well as we've appreciated their point of view and taken cognizant of what they say. And sometimes it's important to also understand that whatever they do mention, there would be something that's important for them and for everything. Yeah, so that makes a difference.
Medika, I hope that answers your question. You can type in the chat box if it
Yeah,
answers
yeah.
the question. Yeah.
So Sonali, sorry, I'm just trying to check Doggle with the chat box. So Sonali says, thanks. Okay, help me look up examples, elaborate points, got some fresh perspective. Okay, so coffee with cream, Colin session. Thank you, Sonali. Thanks,
Anybody
Medika.
else has a query? I don't think there are other questions.
Sure. And we are right on time. Hey, Anita,
Yeah,
hi, like your background.
Yeah.
I love your background. You're truly in the Independence Day spirit.
Thank you, thank you. I love
Lovely.
your talk.
Sorry?
I loved your talk, especially the last piece where you summarized it with power of connection, collaboration, digital. I think that was very well summarized.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Anita.
Okay, so yeah, this brings us to the end of the session today. We are bang on time today. So the holiday spirit still remains. And just to sum up, the entire series, I'll say ki, okay, it was titled the skill development series, but still if we actually look back at it from a personal perspective, be it communication, be it problem solving, or be it empathy, and emotional intelligence, these are all skills and qualities that we need to develop in all kinds of relationships that we have from day to day. So whether it is, at our in our home space or in our office space, these are the qualities that we all need to possess to ensure that our relationships are, happen in the best of manner, and we understand people better. So I'm sure not just on the official front, but also on the career front and professionally, but also on the personal front, these sessions have been really very enlightening for our attendees and all of us, even the panelists as well. Vikas, would you like to add anything?
Sure. Thanks, Ekta. I think firstly, Colin, thank you for this wonderful closure to the LearnED leadership series. Really enjoyed listening to you and the perspectives you brought in. I know after about 5 months of a lockdown, the pillars that you spoke about, empathy, emotional intelligence, and of course today the virtual piece also which you brought in, are the biggest changes possibly that leaders have to grapple with. And I think our attendees will be better placed to move forward. So thanks a lot for that. My only thought at this stage, seeing Colin, Anita, and Ranjit on the screen, is that leadership goes much beyond whatever we've anyway covered here. And I think their mere presence here today in each one of the sessions, irrespective of whether it was the particular speaker session or not, they managed and they actually took out time to join in. Really shows what true leadership is all about. And I think the attendees should absorb this thought and see these role models in front of them, and I'm sure it'll inspire them to go further in their leadership journey. So thanks a lot, everyone. And of course, Harini here again, who's a mentor and a participant of this series. And going forward, I can only say, Ekta, I think we'll be back soon with another series, hopefully, without too much of a delay. And the attendees can watch out on social media for the updates.
Super. Vikas, I just want to say a big thank you. I think it's truly a pleasure to actually share some of my perspective. I try to keep it more interactive in terms of stories that I had. But I think it was fun. It was great to do this morning session, morning/afternoon session with all of you. And thanks Vikas for this platform. Thank you, Ekta, for this platform. I think it's great to interact with that. And of course, Harini, thank you for introducing me to this group. I think it's great to great to meet so many people, so many inspiring people, and of course Anita and Ranjit. I think both your sessions, I truly learned a lot from the sessions. They were a lot fun, and they were truly informative. I picked up a number of things. I made some nice notes. Hopefully, I'll use them somewhere with copyrights to both of you.
It has been my pleasure actually getting to know more people and connecting a lot of my very good friends. So, that's my closing comment on this.
The group is growing actually, and that's the beauty
Absolutely.
of it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thanks everyone for being here. Like Vikas mentioned, it's a true symbol of leadership that we have all. Harni has supported us, and Anita's session was attended by Colin and Ranjit, and vice versa. It's really been a great thing, and I've also personally enjoyed these interactions so much. Thank you, everybody, a lot. So I think that brings us to the end, right? Anybody else wants to add something? Ranjit, you would like to add something?
I think it was a nice journey. That's how I will put it across. In fact, a lot of thought provocation things, some things that we've been doing, we'll be augmenting it further. I think something will be starting. In fact, a lot of insights when Anita talked about communication, or maybe in fact when Colin was talking about leadership, I was reflecting on my leadership styles also. In fact, how I'm doing right, wrong, enough, not enough types of thing. I think good. In fact, a lot of reflection through the journey. In fact, what Colin said is you made notes. I think we also took away a lot of things in terms of our notes. Thanks a lot for that. Thanks, Ekta, Vikas, Sarini, for organizing all these things.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Take care. You have a great holiday and a great weekend.
Great holiday and a great weekend to everyone, and we'll
Sure.
Soon catch up, again on the LearnED series. Yeah.
Sure. Stay safe, guys.
So much.
And
Thank
if
you,
there's
everyone.
any feedback
Thanks
you want
all
to
the
share,
attendees, yeah?
please do
Bye-bye.
share on LinkedIn or any of the other social media. it'll be very nice of you if you can do that. Thanks so much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.